This is such a sickening habit now that we have in this country. What are you feeling today as we report on this yet again?
You know, the first thing I did was I looked back at an op-ed piece that I wrote back in February of 2018 after Parkland shooting. Because on my show, I don't know if a lot of people remember this or not, but I probably had the majority of then Columbine, several of the school victims came aboard the show. I actually went to Chardon after the mass shooting there. I was at Maryville Hochuk in Washington State. And I looked into the eyes of those kids, and my op-ed piece started with never again, again. That was back in 2018. But it really should be never again, 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 again. It's time for the adults in this conversation to take this seriously. 77% of the people in this country believe that we need to have stricter gun laws. Why don't we start doing that? And number two, I'm sorry, we just found this out right before I came on the air. A year before this happened, that 14-year-old, as a 13-year-old, had the FBI knock on their door and ask their family and ask him if he was talking about something like this. And the father said, well, you know, I do have guns in the house, but he can't have access to them. Really? Well, now it's time to start holding the people who, if for children like this, let's start holding these parents more accountable. Let's start locking those parents up for 15, 20 years. Then we're going to start seeing at least responsibility in the gun ownership world.
Yeah, I mean, there's that part of it. I mean, look, there's so many aspects of this that are just, I don't want to say mind-boggling, because in a way, we are seeing the same patterns happening over and over again. But that part of it, the parents' responsibility, law enforcement, when they hear a report, somewhat credible, with a child who has access to weapons, do they have options? Are they utilizing their options? What's happening here?
You know, it's interesting. The White House, when I was there a couple of years ago, they were very focused on this. The president and vice president were able to get a bipartisan, a very small bipartisan gun control piece of legislation passed. But you keep hearing the same refrain. I heard somebody say it today. It can't happen here. We never thought it could happen here. I mean, every community in America now has to wrestle with the fact that it can happen anywhere. And all of us are 1 second away from getting a phone call that we never want to get. And so it's amazing that a very small sliver of the country that holds this Second Amendment orthodoxy that is so different than where everybody else is holding the rest of us in a position where we can't do anything to fix a problem that is really just a uniquely American problem. And it's amazing that we haven't been able to figure this out.
I mean, listen, I today dropped off my daughter at school. And, you know, the week before we had sort of, parents come in and scope at the school, talk to the teachers. You know, the very first thing I looked at was the security. She's pre-3. Yeah. Yeah, she's pre-3, but that's the very first thing we look at. And, I agree, with Montel, something has to change. I don't agree with you that it's a slim majority or a small fraction of the country believes in the Second Amendment. I think a lot of people believe in the Second Amendment.
No, it's not about believing in the Second Amendment. The question is whether or not we believe that your right to own a gun is more important than my right to live.
Listen, I went to school where we had metal detectors to get into schools. I mean, this is a long, long, long history that we've had. I mean, I went to school in the late 80s. We had metal detectors. I mean, my parents made me go to a different school.
But even back then,
yeah,
we had 300 million guns in America. Let's start understand. I mean, I know the president was talking, or the vice president was talking about a buyback. We're going to buy back 100 million guns?
Mandatory.
You know, what happened after the Parkland shooting, I did 22 years in the military. I had 16 guns. How many do I have now? Zippity-doo-dah. It's my responsibility to help families like yours so you don't have to worry. It's these people who claim, I had AR-15s. I had equivalent to MAC-10s. I had 10 millimeter, 9 millimeters, 5 millimeters. Why do I have those many guns? Yeah, I love being able to go shoot and plink, plink, plink. But it's now time for us to start looking to the future. Stop looking to the past.
But Montel, you are a responsible gun.
Buy back the guns, then what? What is the solution then?
The solution is, first off, this 13-year-old boy clearly had some mental health issues if he was writing stories about doing a school shooting a year ago and no one provided him with the services he needed. One of the biggest problems in this country, you're going to hear it for the next 4 or 5 days. Well, we need to take care of the people who are mentally ill. will start paying to take care of the people who are mentally ill.
Yeah.
We have got to address mental illness in this country.
But we're not the only country where we have mentally ill kids. I mean, this whole mentally ill issue that, oh, these kids are mentally ill. Of course they're mentally ill, but you know where else they're mentally ill? They're mentally ill in England. They're mentally ill in France. They're mentally ill all over the world. And yet this is the only country in the world where this happens. And I'm old enough to remember Columbine, where this was front page news for days, if not weeks, if not months on end. And now we see this on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and we just
and there are
shrug.
questions about whether or not this is really mattering to the American public. I mean, years ago, you know, when Parkland happened, I thought, wow, this is it. There's no way we can, I mean, everyone did, no way we can countenance these kids. But look at this polling from just a couple days ago. This is really fascinating. When you ask Americans what is the most important issue to them, look at where gun violence shows up.
We've normalized
It's
it.
almost at the very bottom. I mean, that was actually genuinely surprising to me, given that there are so many people in this country for whom this is a very important issue, because it's not just the kids who are in school, it's their parents who are dropping them off and their grandparents who want them home.
I think we can all agree that a solution, there needs to be solutions. It's how do we get there? And I think many of us at this table very much disagree on how we get there. But there is something that we haven't addressed. And this is a Washington Post statistic that shows 86% of mass shootings happen in gun-free zones. So Montel, you were saying how you used to have a
You're
number of
talking about-
firearms.
I mean, it's largely, what, schools? I mean,
schools, parks, I mean, large
31 plus this year in schools alone.
yeah, but I
Incidents
guess
of
that
guns,
this
80
is,
kids
I don't
wounded.
think that that's an indictment on gun-free zones. I think people are not, they're not getting the guns from the schools. They're bringing the guns into
Of course,
schools.
but I would like somebody who is a responsible gun owner like Montel was to have a firearm and not be sitting ducks where these kids and these adults in parks and other
But
public
we had
places.
this in Uvalde. I'm sorry, we had people in Uvalde with guns, and guess what happened? They ran from the gunfire.
but
The
they
bottom
ran
line is
away, but that's a
introducing-
failure of law enforcement.
Introducing more guns into this equation is not going to save anybody's
Well,
life.
let's be clear. It was a law enforcement school resource officer that stopped the
Who do
shooting
you-
today
who
with
do
a
you-
gun.
Okay, but wait a
So-
second.
so you
Correct.
can't
After
say
this
that-
kid already opened fire and killed four people and
But
wounded
that's
how
a
many
trained
more others?
officer, and a trained officer makes a lot of sense. The question is that I think you're raising is, should we be training or equipping teachers to
I don't
have
think-
guns in the classroom
well,
when
I
something
think-
like
I
this
think you
breaks
have
out?
to
And that
adapt to
seems
your
like it's a little bit too
environment.
far. We ask a lot of the teachers already. Do we want them to
there's
now
gonna-
be security guards?
Let me